Hello, brothers and sisters. Hey, thanks for joining me today. Most of my stories lately have all been around free speech and such. I haven't done too many on Trump, but I think I've got to right now. The biggest story in the world has got to be the ceasefire in Gaza. Tell me if I'm wrong. We've had 2 years of straight up war between Israel and Hamas, and it's been devastating to the Palestinian people. And I normally don't do stories about the tragedy that is Gaza because it is a tragedy. There are no winners. No one has the moral high ground here. Both sides have done terrible things. I do feel that Israel does have the right to protect itself. What would happen if Mexico invaded America and kidnapped 30,000 people from Houston? I think that's a legitimate number if you look at the size of the U.S. and the size of Israel. So to look at the scale of it, Mexico would become the 51st state. We would completely destroy Mexico over that. Look at Afghanistan and Iraq. The Jewish people aren't allowed to fight their wars like other people for some reason. And I get it. It's horrible, the tragedy that happens to the Palestinian people. I understand why the Jews are doing what they are doing. I also want the deaths to stop. There are too many Palestinians being killed. There's too many civilians. I don't care about killing Hamas. They're terrorists. I'm fine with killing terrorists. But there's many dead Palestinians, many displaced Palestinians. It's horrible for the Palestinian people. So I can be for two things at once. I can be for Israel needs to destroy Hamas, and I can also be for have a right to defend itself. And I can also be against the tragedy is the killing and displacement of the Palestinian people. And I'm not smart enough to fix this. That's why I don't really talk about it. But one thing I will talk about is there is a ceasefire. So let's talk about that for a minute. Nobel winner praises Trump. Why would she do that? She just won the Nobel Prize. What does it have to do with Trump? Shock. Nobel Prize winner heaps praise on Trump as she explains why she dedicated the award to him. We all know why this was. A lot of people really expected Trump to win the Nobel because he did bring peace to the Middle East. There is no bigger thing in the world for peace than peace in the Middle East. Several people have won Nobel Peace Prizes over the years because of their attempts to bring peace to the Middle East. Yasser Arafat won one along with, I believe it was Begin and Carter. I think the three of them all won a joint prize for their efforts for peace. Well, Trump just stopped a 2-year war. And I think he stopped about 7 wars, if you actually Google it and look it up. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. And he's got multiple peace deals done with the Abraham Accords and such, but no peace prize for Trump. That seems odd to me. The man has done a lot for peace. So let's see what she had to say.
They decided to dedicate it to President Trump because he deserves it.
So the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, even she thinks he deserves it. Let's go ahead and listen to that again. I want to make sure we didn't mishear it. I'm going to let her play all the way through this time without commenting because she didn't bury the lead. She front-loaded Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, the current winner.
They decided to dedicate it to President Trump because he deserves it. Because not only has he been involved in only a few months in solving 8 wars, but his actions have been decisive to have Venezuela now at a threshold of freedom after 26 years of tyranny that have destroyed the lives of millions of Venezuela, destabilized the region, and undermined the institutions in the United States.
So there you have it, folks. The current winner of the Nobel Peace Prize thinks Trump deserves it. You heard the words right out of her mouth. And I'm not trying to imply she doesn't deserve one. I don't really know enough about it because really, who knew who this woman was? I guarantee none of my listeners, unless they're from Venezuela, knew who she was. And if I remember right, she is the rightful president of Venezuela. They held an election not that long ago, and I think she won the election. All the outgoing polls came in that she won the election by like 30%. But then the dictator, Maduro, said, no, I really won. And he wouldn't step down, and he had the army on his side. And so she never was able to take power. So she's probably in exile in the U.S. or something. I don't know where she is. Basically, what I just heard her say was Trump has been involved in solving 8 wars and the Palestinian crisis, and he's put massive pressure on Venezuela to change its ways. And so it does look like Trump may be trying to do regime change in Venezuela. I think last time I looked, he had like 8 U.S. destroyers parked off the coast of Venezuela, and he moved fighters to Puerto Rico to hit Venezuela if he needed to. And there's rumors the American military is going to seize airfields and ports in Venezuela. The U.S. Air Force or Navy have destroyed at least 4 drug boats in international waters. And the U.S. Navy, no matter what Democrats or anyone says about breaking international law and such, the U.S. Navy has always fought pirates and smugglers. This is nothing new. I think it's a good use of our military to stop drugs from getting to our country and destabilizing it. I've seen a few Caribbean leaders have praised the destruction there. So really, she knows that Trump has done a lot to free the people of Venezuela as well. If he hasn't freed them yet, but on top of his other achievements, he has really pushed hard for freedom in Venezuela. And she may end up being the next president if Trump does turn out to topple the regime. Let's see what else is in this story. I think it's an important story that I don't know if you guys heard that she had dedicated the award to Trump and said he deserved it. Nobel Peace winner Maria Machado has explained why she chose to dedicate the award to Donald Trump following her shock win. Machado, who leads the opposition to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, was announced as this year's winner for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela, the committee announced. Her victory came as a surprise to many who believed that Trump would be honored with the award. Yeah, really. She's done a lot to fight for freedom in Venezuela, but Venezuela's not free. Shortly after her win, Machado took to X, where she explained that many people across the world are relying on the president to achieve freedom and democracy. I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. On Saturday, she further explained the dedication during an interview with Rachel Campos on Fox News, where she heaped praise on the president. Not only has he been involved in only a few months in solving 8 wars, but his actions have been decisive to have Venezuela now at the threshold of freedom after 26 years of tyranny. She praised Trump as being a clear and courageous leader, arguing that he's been an advocate for dismantling the criminal structures in Venezuela. He announced the Venezuelan-based gang Tren de Agra were terrorists and has been treating them as terrorists ever since, deporting them and blowing up their smuggling boats. Machado reaffirmed her gratitude to Trump on behalf of the Venezuelan people, insisting that he deserved the recognition. The opposition leader said that the country was entering a totally new era and everything had changed in Venezuela since foreign actors began intervening in Maduro's reign of terror. Her Nobel Prize win came as a shock to some, as Trump stoked speculation he would be awarded the title for involvement in the peace deal between Hamas and Israel. I knew he wouldn't win. Trump derangement syndrome is strong. The European elites do not like Trump at all. Wasn't there a company in Norway that refused to refuel and resupply American Navy ships because they didn't like Trump? I think I saw that story. I wonder how they would feel if Trump, in a fit of pique, pulled out of NATO. Then we might really see how much peace Trump has brought to the world. But I don't think he would do that. The elites hate Trump. I think the committee chairman said something like, yeah, we don't give the award to people of low moral character and low integrity like Trump. That's paraphrasing, but it was something to that nature. But it's funny because they've given the award to 3 terrorists, Yasser Arafat, Menachem Begin, and Nelson Mandela were 100% terrorists in their youth. They gave it to Kissinger, who I think some claim is the architect of the Vietnam War. Tell me in my comments if I'm wrong. So they've given it to bad people before. And so Trump may be a bad person. He's done lots of bad things. But on the flip side of that, this is the Nobel Peace Prize. He's brought peace, as the current Nobel Peace Prize winner just said, to 8 conflicts. What else do you got to do to get a peace prize? The president boasted he had ended 8 wars when a reporter asked him about Machado's win on Friday. Yeah, Google it. It's true. But you won't see it in the mainstream media. After touting his record, Trump revealed that Machado had called him and said she was accepting the honor on his behalf. Hey, that's a very nice thing to do. I didn't say, then give it to me. Trump is always a joker. The Democrats always take everything he says so seriously, but a lot of it is actually just jokes. I think she might have. She was very nice, Trump joked. Trump has positioned himself as a peacemaker during his second term, frequently campaigning for the prize. When it was announced that Machado received the honor instead, The president's director of communications, Stephen Chung, said the Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace. Yeah, 100%. We've all known that the Nobel Peace Prize was just a participation trophy for leftists ever since they gave it to Obama. I challenge anyone in my comments to tell me seriously why President Obama earned a Nobel Peace Prize. I just call it a participation trophy. And again, tell me in the comments why I'm wrong on that one. Since then, the prize has really been meaningless. Oh, it looks like Trump is going to break his silence. Let's hear what the man has to say. I'm all for full disclosure.
Including a very big one, and I'm not sure, when you say big, it's certainly, I think, to the mind of most, the most important deal ever made in terms of peace. But the one we just signed, it's been signed, sealed, and it's going to start taking place now. It's already started. The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it. A very nice thing to do. I didn't say then give it to me, though. I think she might have. She was very nice. And I've been helping her along the way. They need a lot of help in Venezuela. It's a basic disaster. But there are those that say we did so much that they should have done it. But I'm happy because they saved millions of lives.
Well, and there you have it. The real prize is all the lives that have been saved. Because of that, even if you hate Trump, there must be massive cognitive dissonance right now. The same people who hate Trump were all yelling about free Palestine and the poor Palestinian people. You have to give Trump credit. He did something extraordinary. And even if you hate Trump, you should at least be able to thank him bringing peace to Palestine, getting the ceasefire in place, stopping the killing, and getting more of the hostages home. If you can't thank him for that, you may have some sort of mental illness. I'll just say it. I don't think there is anything bigger in the world today for peace. Perhaps Ukraine might be bigger if he could do that. We all know the probability of peace in Ukraine is very low because Putin is a maniac who doesn't want to stop. And people like to laugh at Trump about, hey, now fix Ukraine. He's been trying, and even with the low probability, I still applaud him for even trying. Even if there's a slim chance at peace, isn't that worth taking with all these dying? Or do you want forever wars? I certainly don't. And I don't really want America involved in European and other foreign wars. I don't think I want us fighting in foreign wars, but unfortunately, our politicians did get involved in these. I agree with Trump. It was a very nice thing for her to thank Trump for what he had done for Venezuela and dedicate the prize to him. I think that was a very nice act. And I think that goes a long way to show actually why she did win the Peace Prize, because she is a bit of a peacemaker. Hope she does get to be president of Venezuela one day. It also looks like the chairman of the Nobel Committee did make comments on it, and I think I've already talked about that, but let's watch what he had to say.
U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and he'd like to have it. He even said that it would be an insult to the United States if he doesn't get it. What does as a chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, think of this, and how has this campaign-like activity by the president and his supporters, domestically and internationally, affected the deliberations and the thinking in the committee?
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
That was a side-eye comment that Trump didn't have integrity. They do it on the history and the will of Alfred Nobel. For my viewers, do you guys know how the Nobel Peace Prize got started? Here, I'll tell you how I remember it. And a lot of people don't know this. The Nobel Peace Prize is the greatest PR whitewash in history. Can anyone tell me how Alfred Nobel got rich enough to fund the Peace Prize? Anyone? Anyone? He invented dynamite. And dynamite has a lot of uses. One of those uses is very interesting for the military. Loads of people were killed with Alfred Nobel's dynamite. So he was having a massive PR crisis. The media was calling him out in Europe and saying how horrible it was that he invented such a thing. His name was getting drugged through the media. So what did he do? He invented the Nobel Peace Prize and other prizes to basically clean up his image, and it worked. Because now today, nobody remembers all the people that were killed with Alfred Nobel's dynamite. So since you're bringing up his history and will, I thought it was good to educate. And if you think I got that wrong, Google it and tell me in the comments. The committee's chairman, Jorgen Frindness, was asked on Friday about the speculation over whether Trump would win the prize. He answered the question by explaining how the committee picks the winner, adding, "We base our decision only on the work and will of Alfred Nobel." Machado has been a fierce advocate for democracy in Venezuela and led the opposition against Maduro. In 1992, she established the Atina Foundation, which helps children on the streets of Caracas. Machado is also a former SUMATE, an organization that promotes free and fair elections. She served as National Assembly member until she was expelled from office in 2014. Machado ran for president in 23, but was blocked from running and replaced by Edmundo Gonzalez Urtilla, who had never run for office before. The committee said that Machado was awarded the prize for her commitment to democracy, a founding principle of peace. Okay, for her commitment to democracy, not actually achieving peace, but okay, fair enough. In the past, Ms. Machado has been forced to live in hiding, he said, when she was announced as the winner. Despite serious threats against her life, she has remained in the country, a choice that has inspired millions. Wow, she's in the country still. When authoritarians seize power, it is crucial to recognize courageous defenders of freedom and rise and resist. The committee posted a video of Christian Harpkevin, the director of the Norwegian Nobel Institute, calling Machado to inform her of her win. He choked up when delivering the news, leaving Machado speechless. "Oh my God, I have no words," she replied. Machado said she was honored, humbled, and very grateful for the award, but acknowledged that she was just one person in the movement. She sounds like a good person, and she does sound like a worthy winner. But again, I would say I think Trump is also a worthy winner. So we will see. Trump has done a lot of things. It's possible that the Nobel Committee will actually come to their senses and start giving the award to people who actually bring peace. So Trump could win it next year. But I doubt it, with all the Trump derangement syndrome that happens in America on the left, and then in Europe, because Europe is ideologically captured by the left. I don't expect Trump to win. But we all know he deserves it. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you do. And if you don't watch it. Thanks. Bye.